Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, I'll be going over how to make a simple to-do list app using React and local storage, where it's going to make a new to-do data item in our local storage, and this will have all the data of our to-do values. And let's say if we add a new to-do, let's do math homework, and if we add it, it'll also add it to our local storage. So as you can see, do math homework, and if we check it, then it'll also check it for our local storage here. It'll say true, and if we refresh the page, it'll still be here, and we can also delete the to-do. So today we'll be learning how to make this using local storage and React, and all the code in the video can be found in the description in my GitHub. What I have here is a new React app created using Vite, and I have ran the app. Now for our project, the first task is to check if the user already has some data in their local storage. If they do, great, we'll set it as a new state. But if they don't have the data, so if they're a new user, then we can make a new local storage here. So to do this, let's import use state and use effect. And under our app, let's make two states. So we'll do const data and set data is equal to use state, and we'll do a empty brackets, and under here let's make a input. So we'll do input and set input is equal to use state. The input will be for when the user is typing up their new to-do list item. Now under here, let's make the use effect that checks if the user already has some data. So we'll do use effect, and we'll do a arrow function, and let's add an empty dependency array. So the function runs once the app runs once. And under here, let's make a new variable called saved to do data. Set this equal to local storage.get item to do dash data. So this is just getting the to do data from our local storage. So we'll check. So if saved to do data, so if the user has some data already in there, then we'll set the data to be json.parse saved to do data. So the reason we do json.parse, it's because the value in our local storage is actually set as JSON value, and we can't just set that as our data state up here. So if the user does not have data, so we'll do else, then we'll create one for them. So we'll do local storage dot set item to do dash data, and we'll set it as a json dot stringify and the empty list. And obviously the reason we do json dot stringify is we can't just set the value here to be just regular text. We have to set it as a JSON. So if we run this, as you can see, it'll already create a to-do data for us. But if we go ahead and delete this and we refresh the page, as you can see, it'll make a new to-do data for us with the value being just a empty list. Now for our next task, let's work on actually being able to add a new to-do item in our app. So under our return, let's add parentheses, and let's make a div. Inside the div, let's make a new input. So we'll do input, and let's do on change. So when the input gets changed, we'll make an arrow function with the event, and we will do set input to be e.target.value. And under here, let's make a button, which when we click it, it'll add a new to do. So let's actually make a function for the button. So we'll do const add new to do is equal to an arrow function, and in our button, let's do on click. It'll make an arrow function which will run add new to do. Now let's set up a logic for our to do. So inside of our function, let's do const new to do is going to be, we'll make this an object, and we'll set the text of new to do to be the input, which we will have gone up here, and we'll do the complete of the to do to be false. So when we first create the to do, we want to set the completed to be false so the user can change it later. and we'll do const updated to-do list. It's going to be a list which will take in the old to-do. So we'll do dot 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 data, which we get the data from up here, and this here just gets the data, and the comma and new to-do, this changes the data to be this data, so it'll be new, right? And under here we can set the local storage, so we can do local storage dot set item to do dash data, and we'll make the data be JSON dot stringify updated to do list. And of course under here let's also set the input to be blank, so that the input value goes away. And here in our input, let's also make the value be input. Now if we save it, we refresh, as you can see, we can add a new to-do. So let's make a new to-do. Let's call this subscribe, and looks like there's an error, so let's check our hold on a minute. Oh, I think it's because we forgot to add parentheses there. So we can do subscribe, and there we go, guys. In our local storage, it'll have the text being subscribe and the complete being false. Alright, so for our next task, let's actually make it so that we can display all of our to-dos that we have under all of our inputs. But before we do that, let's actually fix a problem that I made. So in our add new to-do function, after we set the updated to-do list, let's actually set the entire data. So let's do set data to be updated to-do list. Now, the reason we do this is that once we actually update the to-do list, we want to actually update the entire data that we have also. So now that we've got that out of the way, under our button, let's make a simple an HR tag, and this just adds this fine line over here, so we can separate and view our data in a better way. And down here we can check. So let's make a div, and in this div let's check if our data is greater than 0. So we'll do data dot length greater than 0. So if our data is greater than 0, then we can make a div which will store or show all of our items. Else we'll just make a simple p tag that's gonna say add a new to do. So if we save this, it's not gonna say add a new to do here because we've already got some data. But to just see how this will work, let's delete our to do data down here. So let's right click on here and click delete, and if we refresh our page, it'll say add a new to do. Great. So now that we know that works, under our div, let's begin to put all of our to do data here and just display everything. So under this div, let's make a ordered list. So let's make an an ordered list, and in here we can do data.map. Now data.map, what that does is just gets every single item inside of a list. So data.map, here we're gonna get the specific to do and the specific to do's index. And after here we can make a simple arrow, add parentheses, and in these parentheses here we can go ahead and begin to put the individual p tags and everything else. So we can do .p, and in here we can set the to do text. Now if we save this and let's add a to do, so let's do hello. As you can see, it'll say hello over here. Now after the p tag, let's actually also make a button that we can use to delete our item. So wait, hold on, let me actually put all of these inside of a div. There we go. And to make the button come on the same line as the text, inside of our div, let's add a style, and let's do display. Let's make the display flex. So there we go. And in the button, let's actually add the trash can emoji, and under the trash can emoji, let's also make another button, and let's actually have this button check. So we're gonna check, so to do dot complete. So if our to do is already complete, Then we want to display the check mark. Else, if it's not already complete, we want to display just this red block here. And hold on a minute. Oh, I see what we did. We have to display the red block in quotation marks. So there we go. And now, as you can see, we can have the check mark and the delete. Now let's work on two functions, one which will delete our to-do and the other one which will change the complete state. Also guys, inside of our div that will display everything, here we want to also include a key. So hold on. So I mean, in this div with the style, we want to have the key be the index, and also in our edit we want to have the key to be the index. This is just a good way to make React apps. Now let's work on the function which will change our to-do complete state from being not complete to complete. So to do this, under our add new to-do function, let's make a new function which will be complete to-do, an arrow function, and let's actually run the function here. So inside of our button, let's do on click. We'll make an arrow function which will complete the to-do. There we go. It will complete the to-do, and let's also pass in the index of our current to-do. And inside of our function here, let's get the index, and in our actual code logic, let's start programming this. So we'll get the current complete to-do list. So we'll do const updated list is equal to brackets dot data. This just gets the entire data, and we'll do updated list index. So we'll get the current index of our to-do that we're trying to change, dot complete and or dot completed, and we will make this the opposite of what it currently is. So we'll do opposite of updated list index dot completed. Oh, sorry guys, this is supposed to be complete, not completed. And under here, let's set the data to be updated list, and under here let's do local storage dot set item to do dash data to be JSON dot stringify updated list. If we save this and run it, as you can see, our state will change and our emoji will also change. Now if we refresh our page, it'll stay what we set it to be. So if it's check, it'll say check, and there you go. Now let's work on the other function which will actually delete our to-do. Now let's just make the function here. So let's do const delete to-do is going to be an arrow function, and let's actually also make this take in the index. Now down here in our delete button, here we go, we'll do on click. So once we click this, we're going to make an arrow function which will call our function which is delete to do, and it'll pass in the index. Now let's work on deleting it. So deleting is actually pretty simple. All we have to do is get the data. So we'll do const updated data, same as up here, is equal to dot data. And to delete an item from our list, we'll do we'll do updated data dot splice. Dot splice just deletes a data, and we have to put which index. So we'll do the index that we got and 1. Now this 1 just tells the function to only delete one item. Now under here, let's set our data to be updated data, and down here let's actually put it in the local storage. So we'll do local storage dot set item to do dash data, and here we'll do JSON dot stringify updated data. Now if we check this here, if we delete here, there we go, it's going to delete from here, and it'll also delete from the local storage. Now let's add a new one. So let's do subscribe subscribe and add to do. So once we subscribe, or here we go, as you can see, it'll set the complete to be true, and we can delete it there. So there you go, guys. This is just a simple tutorial on local storage and how to make a to-do list. Obviously, you could do a lot more than just this. You could also have a edit function, which you could make by researching on yourself. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a like. Thanks for watching.